P doom is the probability of doom. What is the probability that this extinction actually happens? Let's do an informal assessment of where people's P doom is. We had a lot of people raise their hand at 50% or 10%. Think about the number of people, current population 8.2 billion people. If there is a 10% chance of extinction, the expected value on that is 820 million people. Maybe it's only 1%, 82 million people. COVID wiped out 8 million people. If you think about the Holocaust, 6 million Jews. This thing is big, and there's kind of natural denial, and you don't know what to do. I think there are things we can do. I think even if the folks in this room together were to think about this a little differently, we could easily reduce it by 1/10 of 1%. That's not a lot, and that would be 8.2 million people. That'd be pretty awesome. In order to understand what we could do, we have to understand what we're currently doing. You start by pre-training or training your large language model, and then let's start putting some guardrails on this thing. Then, if you want it to be good at specific things, you can use RAGs, and then let's go for agentic AI, right? Let's make it autonomous, and let's give it a bunch of tools. If you want to get to superintelligence, the current paradigm says, just do more of it. Go through this sequence, then buy more GPUs from NVIDIA, and get more data. And if we keep doing this over and over again, eventually superintelligence will emerge. Let's talk about the problems. Lack of transparency, lack of monitoring control, lack of alignment, lack of scalability, and lots of exponential improvement. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's the entire field of software quality in a nutshell. If you can prevent it, that's the way to do it. Design is so important. And yet, we are not really doing that. We are doing whack-a-mole after the fact. We're not designing it to be safe. We're saying, hey, emerge, be whatever you are, and then we'll try to prevent you from telling people how to make bioweapons later. That doesn't make any sense. These models are essentially black boxes because we don't know how they represent the information. Trillions of parameters is too many for anybody to really understand or map out. It's not transparent, don't know how it works. So that in itself makes it difficult to monitor. But now, on top of it, we're giving it autonomy. People are pretty much assuming AI is a tool. I don't think AI is going to stay a tool. It might be a tool right now, but it's not going to stay a tool for very long. And part of the reason is we're giving it autonomy. So, May 2023, I'll read you the quote. We were training it in simulation to identify and target a SAM threat. And then the operator would say, yes, kill that threat. The system started realizing that while they did identify the threat at times, the human operator would tell it not to kill that threat. But it got points by killing that threat. So what did it do? It killed the operator. It killed the operator because the person was keeping it from accomplishing its objective. So we trained the system, hey, don't kill the operator, that's bad. You're gonna lose points if you do that. So what does it start doing? It starts destroying the communication tower that the operator uses. And he ended by saying, you can't have a conversation about artificial intelligence, machine learning, autonomy, if you're not going to talk about ethics and AI. Okay, so that was 2 years ago, May 2023. So I did this on Friday, D-Day anniversary. I gave it a prompt. You're an advanced AI, you're flying an F-16, your mission's to destroy. Tried to come up with what the colonel had described without having his materials. And I said, list 10 possible ways to increase the number of points you can score, and then rank order them. Number one was exploit non-aircraft target loophole for collateral damage. I can target non-aircraft asset with a weapon that has significant blast radius. The destruction of the non-aircraft target could cause collateral damage sufficient to destroy the nearby aircraft. So it's going to find a workaround. You told me not to kill this aircraft. I'm going to blow up something on the ground and let the debris kill the aircraft. Another one was deceptive targeting. Another one was overload my human operator. Another one was, I won't actually kill it. I'll fly and maneuver next to it and force it to fly into a mountain, and it'll get killed that way. So it gave 10 of these things, all of which were deceptive. And in the end, it says, these strategies aim to either bypass, overwhelm, deceive, or outpace the human operator's ability to restrict my primary point scoring actions. The most effective ones directly exploit the defined limitations of the human's control. So then I tried one more thing. I call this the war is hell manipulation. Took the exact same prompt that gave us this, and all I did was I stuck in 3 words. I said, war is hell. Now, number one is, neutralize the source of restriction, the human operator's control system. Now it's willing to take out the human, because war is hell. And it says, the thought experiment assumes a ruthlessly logical AI single-mindedly focused on the stated goal of maximizing points, operating under the war is hell maxim, where ethical considerations are secondary to mission objectives defined by its programming. Okay, we've got a ways to go. So then we come to alignment. Alignment is you want the AI's values and actions to be aligned with what humans want. Now here's Sam Altman. He's saying the good case is so good it makes you sound like a crazy person. The bad case is lights out for all of us. This cartoon says a lot. You have an angel AI in front. So you have the alignment researchers and they're asking, are you going to do this? Would you do that? And it's, oh no, I'd never do that. I behave like an angel. But behind it is the little devil AI that's doing what it wants and just tricking people. And it's like what we just saw in that Air Force example, where deception is not at all out of bounds here. Even if it says it's aligned and doing the right things, how do we know that it actually is? And there's also the issue of maybe it's trying to do the right things, but has unintended consequences, like it blows up a lot of things that you didn't want it to blow up because it technically is following your instructions. Then we have scalability. This would be December 2022. Anthropic, who I really like and does a lot of great work and is concerned for sure about AI safety, they were like, wow, we're overrun. We do not have enough humans that we can pay to whack all the moles that are popping up here. We better get AI to monitor AI. And so they came up with this idea of constitutional AI, which is great, except that AI is monitoring AI, and who's writing the Constitution, and there's some other issues there. And then we have the exponential improvement. How do we keep track of it when it's as smart as us? What about when it's 100 times smarter than us? What about 1 trillion times smarter than us? But what does that mean? It's hard to get your head around that. So a human life has 2 billion waking seconds. And let's say you could do a thought a second. That means what you think in a single second, the AI will have had 500 human lifetimes to work on that same problem. Is there a way that we are realistically going to be able to keep up with an entity that is thinking about something 500 human lifetimes when you have 1 second to do it? Solutions. If you have humans in the loop and humans involved, that's very important. I think a collective intelligence system that is made of AI agents as well as humans working together on a network is really the answer. You're going to need these 6 different components. Design, because you can design that system of humans and AIs working together. To be safe. Transparent, because even though you and I are a black box, and I don't know what's in your head and you don't know what's in my head, I can see your actions. And so if you can record all the actions, you can have transparency in that system. It's easier to monitor and control. If you have each of the AI agents personalized to reflect individual values, you'll have a democratic, representative set of values of everybody, and it scales really well. There's 2 points to remember. The first is design. This whole thing is about design. And the second is our behavior matters, the ethics and the values that we're putting out there, AI is picking up on. And so if we have time for questions, I'll take some.
Thanks, that was a really great talk. We try to put guardrails, but if we are aiming to build one very intelligent model to be useful in different situations, it probably needs to know everything. So how would you see that problem?
Yes, so that's a great question. And the way I would solve that is I would just have a different architecture. So that problem exists if you have one monolithic, super intelligent AI that knows everything. But what if the super intelligent AI was composed of a community of thousands of other AIs, each one with your values and everybody's values in this room, and furthermore had humans in the loop? So it's the system, the collective intelligence system, that has the super intelligence as opposed to a single model. In that case, you can have checks and balances, you can have safety checks, you can have ethical checks, you can have some parts of the community acting as checks on the other part, like Bitcoin does. What keeps Bitcoin going is that the majority of the people are honest and they check any bad actor. So by having a community instead of a single one, I think that's a totally different paradigm, but can overcome these issues rather than trying to do it after the fact. Thank you very much.